Everybody, we are live. The big three are back with some big news. We have the hell. Let's just go right into it. First off the bat, the House has passed the funding bill to end the record-long government shutdown. Is now headed to President Trump to sign. There's a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings around this. This has all happened within the last couple of hours. We had a number of Democrats vote for it in the House. So not only do we have 8 Democrats in the Senate cave, the some call them the traitorous 8. I think I'm going to call them the hateful 8 because they are part of the process of ensuring that Americans are not going to have affordable health care. But in addition to the hateful 8, we have the broken 6, the 6 Democrats that broke ranks with leader Hakeem Jeffries to also vote for this, including CBC member Don Davis. And so I'm just going to open the floor up let's just begin right here, start the show right here with this breaking news.
Who wants to start?
All right. Well, I guess I will start. I mean, I was not surprised about Jared Golden. I mean, I knew he was going to probably vote. I was surprised about Adam Gray because I would have. Then he won by like 100 votes, but he's pretty consistent. I mean, listen, I knew that there were going to be some people that were going to, kind of want to stray and decide what they're going to do. So I'm not surprised at all with any of what has happened. People are going to do what they want to do. And there's always going to be a few that are going to go rogue, if that's the right word to say these days. That's what happened in the Senate. These people they decided to do whatever they want to do because some people don't believe in what I call a caucus. They believe that they're going to do whatever they want to do and what's in their best interest and what is in the best interest of what they feel is for the American people. And this is my issue with the Senate in itself. And I think actually Jay Sherman said it correctly that in the Senate, there are everyone is a free agent and you report to your state and you report to your people. So they have come to this conclusion that they're going to do what they want to do. And that's the same way people in the House feel about it. And I think it was no harm, no foul to them because it was going to pass regardless. And so they were just going to protect their own self. The Senate is a little bit different because that vote mattered in terms of trying to help them get over that threshold. And so I look at these two things in different lights in how the House votes and how the Senate votes, but nonetheless, comes down to the same thing. The government is now open, and how the hell do we move forward knowing that we have a very weak Senate in terms of leadership, and how do we trust them to ever have our backs and our best interests if they do not work as a coalition to come together and make decisions for themselves as well as for what's the betterment of the people. And some will say there's two sides of this argument. Some will say, yes, the government needed to shut down. Government needs to reopen because people were being harmed. But I would have rather them come out with that message and be like, listen, there's people that are not getting SNAP. There are people that are not going to be able to get their, it's been 6 weeks. They need to get paid. I would have rather them just come out and say that than give me some bullshit about the ACA, because that is bullshit in every which way. And I did a video on it, and I just found it so freaking ludicrous to try to spin this as though it was a win on the ACA because they were getting a freaking vote. That shit don't mean not a goddamn thing to me. Talk about the people that were harmed, and that would have been a better message. The messaging was terrible.
But even if they talked about the people that were harmed, that itself would be bullshit, because that's literally why I'm more frustrated than anything. Why did you have these people suffer for 40 days and 40 nights for absolutely fucking nothing?
I agree.
And this is where I have an issue right now with my party. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this is the grievance politics. Oh, we need to give more energy to Republicans. Look, I don't give a fuck about a Republican because I will never vote for a Republican. This is my motherfucking party. Just like that nigga in that room is mine. You hear what I'm saying? I don't care or set anybody up for any other type of expectations than the people that's near me. My family, this is my tent. This is my house. And I can't help clean up somebody else's home until I get my own shit together. And right now, we're supposed to have been one band, one motherfucking sound. But the problem that I'm having right now is that when people are sitting back and they're seeing that Democrats caved, these fake 8, or the bitch ass, what is that? What did I call it?
The bitch ass bunch. The bitch ass bunch.
The bitch ass bunch what they basically did is pretty much prove a lot of people who sat their asses at home during the 2024 election that no matter what I do, no matter how I vote, no matter what party I try to, support, they're going to do what the fuck they want to do regardless. And here's the issue that I'm having right now. Everything was in our favor. We had polls showing that Republicans were in charge of the government shutdown. We had polls, and we literally just won the past week with a huge major win for Democrats, especially when these special elections where momentum was on our side. You had
Historic
people who have
win.
completely
Historic
given
win.
so much criticism to Chuck Schumer, so much criticism to leader Hakeem Jeffries, but yet they were on their side when it came to this government shutdown. You have people speaking favorably of you after they've been dogging you for the last 10 months because they've been seeing that you're growing a backbone. Now, based off of the reports that came from the White House, that some White House officials said that Democrats are pussies. The Democrats have no backbone, and that they were getting killed when it came to the government shutdown. And now, when the Democrats want to hold their feet to the fire, right? Because we even have Republicans on the ropes talking about, oh, we're going to go nuclear. Oh, we're going to go nuclear. We're going to nuke the filibuster. We're just going to make this shit pass. They had nothing. Even Trump literally started lying again, talking about, I'm about to send out a $2,000 check to distract people because they know they were getting their asses killed when it came to this government shutdown. Now, what leverage do we have when we know that Democrats are going to bend? They're going to be folded like Kalani's new song. Folded. Like a fucking pretzel, legs behind their head. That's what Democrats are showing right now.
Listen, I don't want to hear nothing about a shutdown ever again, to be honest. Like,
I don't either.
Listen,
like
I don't, because
people suffer for nothing. Literally about to lose, and get kicked out their apartments, about to lose their car, and their car was about to be on repo. I mean, just because they were on furlough doesn't mean their bills were furloughed. What was the whole damn purpose? You got nothing out of it. So that's a slap in the face for every government worker that literally had to suffer for fucking nothing.
40 days wasted, all the momentum from historic wins wasted. The Democrats literally played into the hands of Republicans and gave them exactly what they wanted. And when I say that, I'm talking about going back to what Tiffany said earlier in regards to messaging. After last Tuesday's historic wins, that was dominating the news cycle. I noticed a flood of editorials and a flood of reports that were praising Democrats and praising popular sentiment among Democrats. All of the talk about Democrats being unpopular, about their policies not working, was silenced by what matters. All the polls were ended by the people. And that momentum would have been able to carry us over into January, leading up to really the next State of the Union. And it could have forced Republicans to change position and be more willing to work with Democrats as they moved into the 100 and what is it going to be, the 19th or the 120th Congress. But that's not what happened, because Republicans always know how a way to stop that momentum immediately and garner control of the news cycle. That is what they're masters at. It took less than a fucking week. And it was all done by these 8 dickheads and Chuck Schumer. And the reason why I'm putting blame on Chuck Schumer, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if he really was caught off guard. When you are the leader of a party, especially when it's an opposition party, there is no off guard. You should know every fucking thing that's happening. You should be in control of what's happening, and you should be in the front of it. If one of these 8 fuckers were going to be was going rogue, you should have already had that known, had it put into public, and had people applying pressure across the board on them, unless you were a part of it. Unless you too were concerned about the money you would be losing from the aviation industry that puts so much money in all 8 of these people's hands. And when I tell you, I have been so infuriated every time I have seen Tim Kaine's ass with that fucking, look at that fuck. Look at Tim Kaine. This
looking like Diane Wiest.
Looking like some kind of Fievel the Mouse fucker from, the what was that damn movie? That little Fievel, that fucking thing, mouse. What was that fucking movie?
You talking about
American
Tail?
He illegally came to America.
Yeah, American Tail. Fievel Mouse.
The fucking American Tail mouse You sit here, you half-ass could damn debate when you were running with Hillary. You could half-ass talk. You were a fucking failure then. You're a fucking failure now. You were right behind Bernie and costing Hillary the fucking election. She should have picked a man with some goddamn balls. She should have picked a man with some goddamn balls who didn't walk around all day wearing a goddamn cage, unable to damn do what he's supposed to fucking do in life. That's the problem. That's the damn problem. That's what we had, and I will not be able to forgive these traitorous aides. Nor will I be able to forgive Chuck Schumer because he should have this shit under control. That's why he is, in my opinion, unfit to be the leader of the opposition in the Senate.
Absolutely. No, the thing about this whole, like, the conversation about what happened frustrates me more than anything, as well as the messaging, right? I'm fine with the government being open. The government needs to open at some point, but it is truly what they said, how this went down, that Chuck Schumer was kept informed. What do you mean informed? He is the leader. If you are the leader, you should be at the negotiating table. You should be the one that is there at every step of the way, because you are letting these people make a deal that you are not involved in. So what does that tell me about you? It tells me that you are useless. And the Senate is leaderless. There is no leader of the Senate. There are 47 people who are in a caucus, and 8 of them decided that they were going to do what they wanted to do. And Jeanne Shaheen was the person who led the way, working with the Republicans. And where were you, Chuck Schumer? Why are you even needed at this point, other than to be a leader in name only? Because that's what you are to me. What point do you serve? Because you were supposed, first of all, John Thune did not want to negotiate with Chuck Schumer, and that tells me so much. Because guess what? Can you imagine Nancy Pelosi being told she's not going to be negotiated with? Nancy Pelosi would have been at that door knocking and being like, "Bitch, let me in." Chuck Schumer just allowed them to punk him, and I think that is ridiculous. And for that he has got to go. Like he has to go. There's no other way. And I think for 2026 that needs to be the message. Listen, maybe he stays till the end of 2027, but the message needs to be because the thing is, I don't think that anyone in that caucus has the balls to tell him he needs to go. And you need 50, and you would need half of the caucus, which would then be what, 20 something votes, 27 votes or so, 28. I don't do the math. 27.
I know how to get there. I know how to get the change. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. I know how to get the damn change. I want to answer this question. Those 7 dinos are not running again and don't give a fuck. So what could Chuck Schumer do? That's not fully accurate. 2 of the dinos are not running again. No, it's
many of them were elected in 2024.
Yeah. Some were elected. They're safe. They're safe until their 6-year term is up. But I know that we got 2 of them are retiring. They're out, and that's true. But yeah, Jackie Rose and Catherine Cortez Masto, they plan to continue on. They're going to be there. So when you talk about what could Chuck do, well, look at what the damn Mike Johnson did. You had the Department of Justice call in Lauren Boebert today and sit her ass down, and God knows what they said in the Situation Room. There are things that the leader of the party in the House and in the Senate should know and be able to use to whip their members into place. Well, I mean, they're not the literal whips, but they have the whip there. That's their fucking job. To sit them down and have true conversations. If you have never watched House of Cards, sit that ass on down and you watch and see who's the man, Frank, how Frank Underwood would handle shit, okay, when he was the whip. That television program on Netflix showed me how Washington works. And from someone who has been there, has met these people, it is damn right. It is very accurate to chorus. That show had some drama. But there's elements of what you do to whip your votes in. You can literally see it happening in the background. So
yeah, but that would take.
We have to run politics better. We have to be better. We have to be stronger. We have to take from the Republican playbook. It can't be, well, you just gotta follow your heart and vote how you want to vote. No, motherfucker, you're going to vote what's right for the people.
Like we're in the middle of fascism right now. We don't have time for follow your heart, bitch. What are you talking about?
Shut it. But that would require someone with strength. This is what I'm trying to say. None of those people in the Senate, I'm sorry, none of them. Maybe okay, let me just not say none. Maybe like 10 of them out of the 47 actually have the balls. My Senator in Holland, he got some balls, okay?
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren, when she wants to, she could say, she could open her mouth. Bernie, I hate him, but he at least uses his mouth to some degree, right? You have Chris Murphy, who's a sometimer, but most of the time he's on message. Then you got people like Cory Booker. Like, you think what balls that motherfucker got? They not there. Okay, so there's a lot of people to me that are they're the newer members. I think have more strength, like a Gallego and also Brooks. They have more strength. They're younger. They have more tenacity. They're willing to fight a lot harder than some of these people that have been there for a long time. And they try to use their states, to be like, oh, we're in a purple state, so we got to think about what's right for other people. That shit's bullshit. I don't hear that shit no more. Like, there is no one there to me that is there. I just don't think there's 28 people that are strong enough to tell Chuck Schumer to fuck off. Like, there's just not. They don't respect him, but they do respect him, and no one wants the job. Like, even Bernie said, no one wants this fucking job because it's the most horrible job to have. And who wants to lead a caucus that doesn't even give a shit about what anyone else says? Like, you have people that don't care what other people say.
Fashion. You have to lead in a
there's not a ruthless person. There is no ruthless person.
Well, there has
Nancy Pelosi was ruthless. Nancy Pelosi was ruthless. Okay, she knew how to whip them goddamn votes. Okay,
Lyndon B. Johnson was ruthless. Like, we need those kind of leaders of the opposition at this critical moment because history demands it. History demands it. We have to have it. When Contessa says, and Contessa, I saw that you're healing. We love you. We're praying for a quick and speedy recovery. Do you think that Hakeem knew these people were going to fold? Yeah. I actually do think that Hakeem knew. And I think that it was like a matter of it really doesn't matter at this point. I do. I don't think he was caught off guard or surprised. And I say that because Don Davis, a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, and they never broke ranks. His seat is in jeopardy. And I think that they were like, yeah, go ahead. It could benefit you in the reelection. Not a big deal. That's personally what I think, but I don't know that for a fact.
No,
but the real fight was already lost in the Senate, so it didn't even.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't matter at that point. No, it definitely didn't matter.
And I think that's the bigger issue that we're having right now is the fact that, hell, what was the fucking purpose? And then I don't know. It's just insanity to me.
Well, this is something that I think too. I want to just briefly add in. Midnight Sun. I'm going to tell you what this is all my theory. You're right. Senator Ossoff is the most vulnerable. They say he's the most vulnerable. He's not the most vulnerable. Senator Ossoff has Georgia on lock unless a new challenger enters the race. Based upon who he's running against now, he's gonna win this race. He's got it over. He's got it. If Brian Kemp enters the race, then Brian Kemp is gonna win hands down. Like, Georgia is definitely gonna be a popularity favorability contest. But as of right now, John Ossoff is clearly safe right now. But we won't know until March the 7th or 8th. I think the deadline to submit is March 6th. So there's still time for other people in the race. But right now, I think he's very safe. The fact that John Ossoff, who I think was vulnerable in his mind and in the minds of some people, did not vote for this indicates that they knew that this was a bad idea, and they knew this would piss off Democrats, and they knew this would hurt the base. They knew this. They knew it. And that's why he didn't vote for it, and that's why they probably told him not to vote for it. And that's why he got these 8 fuckers instead to vote for it, because they're not running for re-election for the next 4 or 5 years, and by then the American people will have forgotten, and they will move on. That's why I think it happened. So that's why I'm not able to give that's why I can't let any Democrat off the hook but a handful. So I'm trying to be fair. I posted on Twitter, fuck all of them, get them all out of office. Y'all got mad. People said I was a damn leftist and shit. They got blocked promptly. But the reality is, I think that there are a number of people in the Senate who chose to go this route and push this route. And what pisses me off is that you didn't go this route when federal workers were missing paychecks. You didn't go this route when 42 million Americans were being denied SNAP benefits. You went this route when motherfucking billionaires and businesses and corporations were going to lose money because they can't make their fucking meetings across the country, when they can't fucking go to their goddamn vacations, when they can't celebrate the birthday parties of the shit they care about. When the aviation industry was losing money, that's when you got off your ass, and that's when you decided to make a decision. And that pisses me off because it says that even your Democrat asses are not for the people that are fighting the best they have. This is not on the people. This is on the politicians. The people showed up. Democrats and people who are aligned with Democrats showed up on election day, November the 4th, and they voted hard. They voted overwhelmingly for Democratic candidates in this country, and they've actually done that in every single special election since Trump took office. The people showed up for the goddamn No King's March, 7 million strong, increasing numbers from 3 million to 5 million to 7 million, maybe more than 7 million. Some say as many as 3 million. The people are doing their part to fight back against fascism in this country and authoritarianism creep, but the goddamn politicians that should be at the forefront are not. They're tucked safely in their fucking multi-million-dollar mansions, getting huge amounts of money from special interest groups. That's the fucking problem, and they're fine with it. And I refuse to let these fuckers off the hook.
Yeah, me either. I'm gonna keep this. We're literally gonna. They think we're gonna forget. Child, we got the list. Okay, we got the bitch ass bunch. We got you. We know exactly what's gonna happen. So I hope you guys don't keep that seat too warm. But the other thing about it is, when we're looking at again, it's just a slap in the face to voters. Do these people? Because I was watching a clip of Tim Kaine, pretty much gloating, saying, "Oh well, I'm not sure what's gonna happen whether they vote for ACA subsidies or not, but we're gonna bring it to the vote, and the voters are going to see what party stood for them and what party didn't." What are you talking about? You base this off of a fucking pinky promise that you know damn well they're not gonna vote for it. But then you're gonna allow more people to suffer and cause their premiums that are unaffordable to go up. You're gonna cause where people are not gonna be able to go to rural hospitals because of closures. What was the whole purpose of it? Like, everything cannot be on just the voters alone. And you think just running off of Republicans and Donald Trump bad is gonna get people to the polls?
Well, here's the thing.
That doesn't work anymore.
I think it doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. And people are just frustrated. I mean, they should be frustrated. This administration is cruel. Cruelty is the point, as we say, when it comes to Donald Trump. And so on one hand, you could look at it and say, okay, well, how much more cruelty would we be able to tolerate with what Trump was going to do? Because this motherfucker is still trying to fight with the Supreme Court to not give people SNAP. I mean, he was going to fight tooth and nail not to give it to them. So at what point, and I agree with you that this was a waste of time, right? I mean, we had this conversation at the very beginning of this shutdown. Is this really worth it? Are they going to go through with this? And what was the threshold of pain that we were willing to tolerate? Because these people were not, I'm just being the voice of reason, that these people were never going to fold on the one thing that Democrats were fighting for, which was the subsidies. They were never going to agree on these subsidies. So at what point do we say enough is enough? And I just don't think the way they went about it was the right way in terms of the conversation and how it was presented to the American people after a week of winning. And then you come out and you say, oh, we got a promise. That was not the right message to send to people, because listen, somebody was going to have to give in. And there was only two options that were going to happen. There was going to be a negotiation, or the filibuster was going to be killed. And with the filibuster killed, that would have been a whole nother situation that we were going to get into. So at what point was enough? And for these 8 people, there was enough that was happening. But for the American people, what was it? Another month of this that we got nothing out of it. I don't know how much more we were going to be able to take, because again, when you think back to this, they knew that Republicans were never going to concede. So what was the point? What was the point? I think that's what everybody's left with. What was the point of the whole entire shutdown if they were never going to give in? And so people can take, this whole like, oh, we got a participation trophy and we got them to talk about this issue. Who the fuck got them to talk about this issue? Because guess what? They don't give a fuck about this issue. They don't care if people don't have insurance. They're like, go ahead, die. The government shouldn't be funding people's insurance anyway. Like, I literally had a whole entire day of fighting with Maggie yesterday about this, because I actually care about the ACA. I care about Obamacare. I've worked on this for 15 years in my real life job. Like, I care about this and I care about people being insured. But a lot of people in this country just don't give a damn. So it was like, do 42 million people eat? Or do we keep fighting for Obamacare? And it's a bad choice. It's a bad choice that we were given, and unfortunately, these people chose. And the reason the reason I'm recording that they say that they folded was because of the harm of what Trump was doing with SNAP. So I don't know. There's no
about that for a second. I seen Maxwell Frost showing up to food pantries, handing out food. I saw Lauren Underwood showing up to food pantries, handing out food. So it's not like Democrats weren't trying to make sure that and look, our governor, $62 million for SNAP. He was able to come up with some money in order to help to make sure that people were able to receive their SNAP benefits. Democrats were doing what they were supposed to do. It seems like Republicans are the only ones who didn't give a damn about the SNAP. And even with
that's very true. Yes, but this is the problem with that. Yes, Democrats are the only ones who are fighting, standing in the gaps, doing their part. But the American people don't see that or get that when you have these 8 dumbass motherfuckers taking the messaging off course, not allowing the message to penetrate, not allowing the message to reach the American voters. That is why I'm so pissed off. That is why I'm like, fuck them all. Burn the Senate the fuck down for the Democratic Party and get all those dummies out of there. Because their futures are interconnected and intertwined. There shouldn't have been one fucking Democratic senator of the 47 in that House that let these 8 dumbasses get out of that motherfucking chamber without getting their asses beat. Because the whole party suffers and all 47 suffer and fall with those 8.
But the thing is that you said that most people don't care about the ACA and stuff like that. But even with these subsidies, and maybe they just don't understand that. I mean, my premiums on January are going up. I mean, they're taking more out of my check. So I don't have ACA. I don't have my
your regular insurance went up this year.
Yeah, everybody's insurance went up this year.
Yeah, but does that not register to them what's going on? Do they not see that more money's been taken out their check? They have less money to feel like I don't understand.
Most Americans didn't check and see it until November. And as a matter of fact, so like literally, and I know I sent this to you, Kenny. You were I sent you my family group chat. My sisters didn't even realize, like, I have like 3 family members. Like, I have a brother-in-law who's on ACA. I have a first cousin, who's also ACA. I have a niece, a college student. Well, 2. I have a niece and a nephew, both in college, who are, benefiting from the ACA. They all the videos I make, all the talking that I've done about this, they didn't even get it until they saw it for themselves that they were individually impacted going in Mississippi from $46 a month to $246 a month for a fucking student that brings in 0 income. Okay. So that is the impact. And people just didn't, but more people would have seen it if it could have stayed in front of them. Now it's going to be that people are just going to make a hard decision and say, I just won't have health care. I'm not going to have any insurance. And I'm going to just live with that. That's what's going to happen. And that's
when something happens and they have to go to the ER, they have to go to the emergency room, and then they have to eat the cost of taking that person in, then you're going to have more hospital closures. And that's what's going to happen.
But make no mistake, like someone put in the chat a moment ago, Trump is going to give them Trump care, Trump RX. It's going to be something done by the Republicans and Trump that'll have his name on it. That'll be like their thing. It'll come. And then they're going to get credit for it. That's what this is about, right? That's what this is about. That's what they're going to do.
I think so, because Marjorie said that they don't have a plan. She said, I've talked.
Yeah, they don't have a plan.
They have absolutely nothing
getting one. That is how they operate. They don't have, it'll be bullshit. It'll be like that, Trump care. It'll be cryptocurrency care. Oh, we're going to give you your health care, pay for your health care cryptocurrency.
I mean, but look at their student loan repayment program. But look at their version of the student loan repayment program. It's higher, significantly higher.
Oh, Kenny, listen, I work in insurance. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now that there is no plan that is going to be available that Trump could put out that would be any better than what the ACA is. And the ACA does have issues. There is an issue with the premiums on the ACA. People love to argue with me about the ACA. I have my issues, but the real things that what impacts people don't understand. ACA is regulation and there's a marketplace. There's 2 different things that go on with the ACA. The ACA as built was a regulatory bill that took some things out so that people would no longer have to be denied coverage. You have pre-existing conditions. You also have essential health benefits. These are things that people are that on the outside, they do not work in the country, do not understand that they do not, the people, children being on the plan until 26 years old. These things are what have saved people money along the way. Because guess what? When I'm sure Zach and I are very closer in age than we are to you, Kenny. And when we left school, you had to go get your damn job because you knew you was going to be uninsured. And if you were uninsured, that means you would have to go to the emergency room. And we were hustling and bustling trying to get a job so we could get that damn insurance. And so there's a lot of things that came about with the ACA that people aren't even aware of. But but what Republicans focus on is the marketplace. And is the marketplace perfect? Absolutely not. There are issues with the marketplace because it requires a pool of people to be able to basically, you have the people that are healthy and then you have the people that are sick, and those things have to offset in order for costs to be contained and for them to be the premiums to stay somewhat low. As people get older, as people get sicker, that causes premiums to rise. The same thing when you work for an employer. Your employer has a lot of sick people versus a lot of young people. It starts to offset, and then claims start raising, and it's a whole thing. But it's frustrating because a lot of people just don't understand how any of this works, and Republicans just don't have a better plan. Trump is talking about HSAs. First of all, HSAs are tied to high deductible health plans. That's not something that I'm going to just throw $2,000 in your plan, in your HSA, and you cannot buy an insurance plan for $2,000 for a whole entire year. Let me say that very clear. There is no such thing unless you're going to buy a junk plan, which covers basically nothing. So people do not understand how any of this works. And a lot of people, they rely on their employer to get insurance because that's what the system is. Can the system be improved? Absolutely. Can Trump improve it? Fuck no, he cannot improve it because he doesn't even understand how insurance works, because not for one day, he has never had to suffer or never had to understand how any of this works because he is rich. He can go to whatever doctor he wants, whenever he wants. And all these rich motherfuckers are never going to be impacted by this. And this is the problem with this country. People do not understand how this works. And people also who are in charge do not have to worry about this because everyone in that goddamn Senate and everyone in that damn House has insurance. They're all covered and they can go to the doctor at will, unlike the other people who are going to suffer.
Yeah. All I know is going forward. All I know is that going forward, because shit is done. Okay. They done did it.
It's done.
It's done. All I know is I want to continue to keep having these conversations around affordability. For a long time, we saw Hakeem Jeffries fuck up and fumble when it comes to this affordability talk. I'm seeing him actually being held to the fire by a lot of content creators, and he's actually leaning into the affordability conversation, and it's actually resonating very well with people. I hope we continue talking about affordability, bringing down the cost and understanding that the reason why things are so high and why things continue to go high is because Donald Trump and Republicans only care about billionaires and lining the pockets of those who are at the top, rather than people who are literally making these people their wealth, which is us.
Yeah, and that's where we are, and that's where we are. I want to emphasize, why is Kemp popular? He's a good politician. Brian Kemp is a good politician. I'll give him his credit. He's a strategist. His brain works in strategy, as do many Scorpios. His birthday is November 2nd, the day before mine. He's an excellent politician. He knows how to play politics in Georgia very well, masterfully. He's not someone who, he's a Georgia boy, UGA graduate, goes to the games, fraternizes, does all those things wonderfully. He's out here. He's not being pro-Trump. He never was, in terms of standing up Trump. He's done that. So he appeases that, made the moderates and it made the centrists happy. People also enjoy, Georgia, they don't know what they don't have. So because they've never had a quality access to affordable health care, they don't get the fact that they couldn't see the vision of what they could have had with Stacey Abrams because they only knew what they had. And so in that, what they had to them was more than enough. So that's a big part of why he's very, very popular in Georgia. And again, he's also really strategic in terms of having Black politicians like Mayor Andre Dickens up his ass. He knows how to align the pockets and align the priorities of allies strategically. Again, a good politician. So I think it's a good time for us to make a little bit of a transition from what could be the only silver lining in today, which is the looming release of the Epstein files. Let's take a look at this.
Breaking news, CNN has learned there will be a meeting today inside the White House as aides try to manage a potential House vote on the release of the Epstein files. This comes, of course, just hours after Democrats on the Oversight Committee released emails from Jeffrey Epstein himself mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times. I want to get straight to CNN's Caitlin Polanth. Caitlin, what are you learning?
Well, the House is releasing these files, but it's not everything that the federal government has. Dana, there's additional files still held by the Justice Department that some Republicans on Capitol Hill are in support of releasing. And so that is causing a political response inside the White House right now, where there is a meeting planned, or was a meeting planned today, about the House effort to try and force a vote to get the Justice Department, the Trump administration, to release the rest of the FBI files, the Justice Department files, everything from years of the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and others, things that have not seen the light of day yet. What one source tells me, we have multiple sources confirming that this meeting is happening, but what one source tells me is that this meeting was planning to include some key figures from the Justice Department, the FBI Director Kash Patel, the Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and then one of those Republicans in support of transparency, Republican Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado. So what might happen at this meeting if Boebert could be swayed in a different direction on wanting transparency here? That is all something that is going to be at issue, and that the White House is clearly concerned about, having discussions about it. On top of that, Dana, another thing to remember here is that the Justice Department has tried many different ways to distract from releasing the full Justice Department files. They tried to get grand jury records out there. Blanche talked to Ghislaine Maxwell, a co-conspirator in Florida. When Ghislaine spoke to Todd Blanche, she told him that Trump himself never acted inappropriately, and she never saw anything untoward in any way toward either. Dana?
Yeah, but she also said he was never at the house, and in the email, Epstein said he was at the house.
What do we think? What are your thoughts there? Like, is this going to matter? That's just,
I don't know.
That's where I am.
It will.
Matter.
I don't think it will, but I mean, it's just to put it on record, I guess, to understand that the Republican Party has turned into the party of protecting pedophiles. So I think that's the main thing. I guess Democrats are trying to hammer. And plus, it's very divisive language. I mean, it's really ripping the Republican Party apart and really makes Donald Trump sweat. It seems like this is his Achilles heel. We really haven't found a smoking gun for him so far, but this is the main thing that he's so concerned about, where he brings Lauren Boebert. Maybe he thought she was going to be handy because she's been so handy before in the movie theater. Maybe he thought that she would be handy and then not, signing that petition, but it doesn't matter. They already got their 218 signatures thanks to Adelita being sworn in. So, hey, but even with that, they said it's supposed to take 7 congressional days.
we don't have 218 Democrats. No.
We have Republicans who signed on too.
But Lauren was one of them. So if Lauren pulls out, we lose it.
Well, no one can. Okay, no one
can pull out now. Now they can. I'm saying now they can't. But they also, when it goes to a vote, she can become a no vote.
Yeah, but there's other people that are going to vote for this, so it's definitely there's like 3 or 4 other Republicans that are already saying they're going to vote for it. So this is why Trump is scared. He's scared because he knows that if this comes to an actual vote, that there's going to be more Republicans that do not want to look like, as what did Hakeem call them, the pedo protection program, and they don't want to be in the PPP, child. So they are going to vote for this, and that's the part that Trump is really scared of, because there will be a push for the DOJ. Like so what happened was, a couple months ago, obviously Summer Lee and the Oversight Committee, they asked for those records and they never got them. Like they've been trying. They got some of them, and this is how they got these emails and how they were able to expose them. But the majority of the files they still have not received. So this will force the DOJ to have to do something. And I will give it to Ro Khanna and I will give it to Thomas Massie for pushing this as far as they have to be able to get to this point. Mike Johnson thought he was slick tonight, though. You know what I don't know if y'all know what he tried to do. He tried to bring this up for unanimous consent, because what he doesn't want is for there to be an actual vote. We need to get people on the record. So he brought it up, and then he's like, well, I brought it up for unanimous consent to release the files, and the Democrats denied it. Yeah, because the Democrats want everyone on the record. This is the point.
Yeah.
You can call it a show, you can call it whatever you want, but it's a show because we want to know who is part of the PPP, period.
Yeah.
Speaking of, have anybody read a few of the emails that has been
Horrible
released? Child, well, one good thing, I can at least post my photo with me and Bill Clinton, because apparently he wasn't on the island. So that's one good news. But child, Trump, he alone with the victim for hours at a time.
Yeah, I mean the emails are out, but the actual things that the actual keeping the files at, we still don't know the full extent. We're just getting a small glimpse into this and what it is. And again, I think you guys are right about going on the record. It'll make for some campaign ammunition when the time comes, and hopefully it will penetrate some of these people who are beholden to this cult to really, if nothing else, question who the fuck they are as people. That to see if can you really stand behind this, and can you really, really go for this? This was a great moment today on the floor from AOC.
The lady from New York is recognized for 1 minute.
It is great. It is great that Democrats have a line of people who are willing to fight for working class Americans from coast to coast in this country, because God forbid that we have a member of the Republican caucus who stands up and actually wants to extend the Affordable Care Act so that people with cancer, insulin, and issues across all sorts of healthcare issues across this country have their health insurance protected and extended throughout 2026. It is unconscionable that what we are debating right now is legislation that will give 8 members of the United States Senate over $1 million apiece. And we are robbing people of their food assistance and of their health care to pay for it. How is this even on the floor? How can we, as members of Congress, Republican or Democrat, vote to enrich ourselves by stealing from the American people? That is what this legislation does. In fact, Senator Graham just went before the press earlier today saying he was going to seek well over $1 million from the American people from this. We cannot support it, and we cannot stand for it. Thank you.
His time expired.
I mean, Democrats are fighting hard. But again, is it going to matter? Is it going to make a difference?
No, but this is the bullshit. Why the fuck would they even sneak that in there to get minimum 500,000?
Yeah, I mean they're gonna fund these people at $500,000 for the inconvenience of them having co-conspirated a hostile takeover of our government, insurrection, getting caught, and because they did it, they're gonna get $500,000 for it.
All for their phone records. I mean, it's not $500,000 for your phone records.
Even though so many government programs have been lost, defunded, gone, so many American workers have lost their jobs, and they're not getting them back. Jobs that were cut during the shutdown, they said they weren't bringing them back.
I think I'm in the wrong profession. I think I need to run for Senate because of hell. If I can get 500,000 minimum, and steal for the American people, my God. This is what a lot of these people went to office for, just so they can enrich their own pockets. They're not here for the people.
Yeah, and it's not just Republicans. There's Democrats too, like AOC. It's both sides. That was a good speech that she said. And at the end of the day, these people just really don't care about they don't care about the constituents. They don't care about the people. They only are there to line their pockets, and they are only there to care about themselves. And I think to your point, Zach, which said earlier about the fact that people didn't move on this until they started to feel the heat from the billionaires and the millionaires and the corporations, because air travel was being really disrupted and would have been horrible the next couple of weeks. And so we saw how people started to move. But
Yep.
what's interesting to me is that I found this, as far as like healthcare is concerned, Donald Trump has decided he is going to attack insurance companies, which is very interesting to me on a lot of levels, because and I want you to understand why he's attacking them. And Tim Burchett kind of gave it away yesterday, because a lot of insurance companies gave money to Kamala. This always comes back to Kamala, okay?
Yep.
And so they are so pissed off.
And
Yeah,
he's
they're
also
so pissed
sending
off.
a message that don't you dare give to the opposition ever again. Like he is strangling the funding for Democratic candidates and causes.
Yeah, this is what it comes down to. These people do not like that they gave a ton of money to Democrats. And the reason that they gave a ton of money to Democrats is because, guess what? They want to, the insurance companies have invested a ton of money into the ACA. They are not going to dismantle the ACA would cost trillions of dollars for insurance companies, because I can go in this all day. I work in this profession. It's really crazy to think about. But this is why when that thumbs up, thumbs down happened with John McCain, people cheered, because that was a pivotal moment. We have gone 15 years with them not having a plan, not having anything, not knowing what to do. And guess what? This is a hot mess. And I don't know how to save it. I don't know what's going to save it. But the people are going to have to be the ones to rise up and kind of speak, because we don't have representatives to do that in the Senate. I just don't believe that. We have some, but we really need to get the House back in 2026, because without getting the House back in 2026, we're fucked in so many ways. And as you can see, there are people in the House that are willing to stand up. Even as much criticism as Hakeem Jeffries gets, he has been standing up on this issue. He has been standing up for the people, and his messaging has definitely gotten better. And there are a lot of people in the House that want to be able to do the right thing. I just don't feel that same way about a lot of those people in the Senate, unfortunately. And now I'm talking about Democrats.
Because they don't have any vulnerability. They only run every 6 years. Somebody who's in the House, they're constantly on their ass, because every 2 years your ass is on the go, trying to get funding, trying to go here, trying to go there, trying to get people to vote for you. That ass is always being
It's a nonstop grind. When you're in the House, it's a nonstop grind. You don't get a break. It's a hard job, until you are just like really cemented in. Even then, you can lose. Like Harry Reid did that. Like, there are people, like, you can be like a legend in the House and still lose. Shockingly, there were some shocking losses for Democrats and I guess Republicans at certain points where seats were flipped and they lost.
How do we maintain the momentum going into 2026 so that we can win the House? Like, that's that's my main concern. Like, I don't want to put my stamp of approval behind feckless leaders and leadership.
Kenny, what momentum? The momentum is gone. Did you not see this meme? Post-election momentum, and then Senate Democrats. We lost it. We lost it. I think the momentum is gone. I don't know anyone who
they just shit in the punch bowl and just walked away.
Who's excited about Democrats today?
Well, I don't think that people are excited about Democrats. I'm going to disagree with you, because I don't think that people are excited about Democrats, but I do think people are excited about winning. And winning, while we won and it felt like we lost, people understand in order to get new leaders, to get people actually voted in, you have to actually show up to the polls, right? So you can be disappointed about what happened, but I do appreciate this. I said this as soon as it happened. We got to stop blaming the whole Democratic Party for shit that happens when it's 8 people that have made a decision. Like, this is not the Democratic Party that y'all got to stop putting this label. The Democrats are weak. No, it was 8 motherfuckers who were weak and a stupid leader who doesn't know what the hell he's doing that caused this whole situation to happen, right? It is not the entire Democratic Party, because those governors are still doing their job. They are the ones that are fighting, because my governor has been busting his ass for the last 2 months trying to get people help and do the things that they need to do. So we got to give credit where credit is due, and to the people that run their elections, and watch how people move individually versus watching them talking about it as a party. Because Brian Tyler Coleman, I appreciate him, but what he said today was bullshit, because it is not about a party. This is not a party issue. There are 8 people in the Senate who caved. Put the fucking blame on them. Stop putting this on the whole entire party. That's just how I feel about it.
No, I agree with that, but I want to give a caveat though. Here's the caveat, and this is why the momentum is gone. And I agree with that. It's not the whole party, because there were more people behind the wins of last Tuesday than there were around the traitorous happenings of this past weekend. But look at the wins that we got on Tuesday and why we got those wins. I want you to think about that. People did not vote for Democrats. And that's something that we need to, that's my lesson. That's what Zachary learned. And that's why Zachary is taking a different look at how he approaches his work and his strategy. Nobody voted for Democrats, went down a ballot, and I'm going to vote for Democrats because I believe in Democrats, I believe in their messaging, and I'm fighting for the party. But that's how Zachary operates. Zachary may be operating wrong. People voted for Zohran Mamdani with excitement and enthusiasm because of Zohran Mamdani and Zohran Mamdani's campaign. People in Georgia voted for the 2 public service commissioners not because they're Democrats, not because of them, or even because of their campaigns. We don't know who the fuck those people are. We voted for the Democratic challenger because of the price of the light bills and the way that Georgia Power has manipulated and paid off Republicans to act a certain way. So we voted. That was why. So it's so. And I said to say, it's a variety of things that led to the wins on last Tuesday. But I do not think it's because of the Democratic brand or the Democratic messaging or the Democratic work. And until the party gets those things tighter, we're at jeopardy of losing those wins and not being able to carry it over. And that's what I'm saying. We're not carrying shit into 2026 because it's not there yet. We need national Democrats that the people can believe in, that we're excited to stand behind. And we just don't have it right now. We just don't. I wish we did, but we don't.
But how about this? What about if we stop caring about the party? What if we agree that we need to focus on individual people, right? Or individual issues or individual, like I don't say, oh my God, I'm voting for you just because you're a Democrat. I've never thought that. I'm voting for you because you give me a motherfucking reason to vote. I mean, let's be real. Like I'm not gonna do that. And I think people need to move away
there'd
from
be a whole lot of Democrats.
Yeah, well, listen, people vote.
Nobody's gonna vote for Jackie Rosen because of Jackie goddamn Rosen.
Yeah, they voted for her because she's a Democrat. She's a Democrat, okay? But they're not voting for the Democrat. They're the party people are moving away from the whole like idea of a party. They're like, okay, we are voting because we are anti-Republican. We are voting because we like, and like you said, Zohran Mamdani, we like him. We like his messaging. I love me some Wes Moore. I voted for Wes Moore. We had a primary, and I voted for Wes Moore because I like that man. And I voted for Angela Alsobrooks and went hard and didn't get no sleep for like 4 months because I like Angela Alsobrooks. You know what I mean? Like this is how I operate, and it's not about like the DNC does nothing for me. I'm sorry, they don't do nothing for me. They never have. They never will. I don't give a shit what they got to say. Their messaging sucks, and this is how I am. I focus on individual. That's what they adopt people to be the candidates that you are going to support in 2026. And if you want to have momentum, listen to the messages and carry their messages across the board and help them to win. It's not about the party. This is about fuck Trump. We got to get those motherfuckers out of here. That's it. Period.
I get it. So, yeah, and no, it's not these red states are not turning blue, and that's the whole point. You won't get a red state to turn blue until we improve until the Democrats do a better job of being Democrats. That's my point.
They just do a better job at branding. I think a lot of people don't understand what our party is.
We will never be able to have a message listen, Kenny. We're never going to have a message that carries if we have piss poor messengers. Let me repeat that.
That's it.
We're never going to have a message that carries if we have piss poor messengers. If the messenger is Tim Kaine, Jackie Rose, and Catherine Cortez Masto, John Fetterman, we're fucked because they can't do it. I hate to say it, the message will never work if the messenger is Chuck Schumer.
Ever.
That's the point. That's my whole point. That is my whole point.
But
That's
the whole
why
purpose of why we're going into
sitting here
2026.
talking about the message. We have for the whole entirety of the big three talked about the message, but the reality is it's the damn messenger. These weak motherfuckers gotta go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
The messengers are terrible. I mean, there are definitely terrible messengers, and the terrible messengers are the people who typically struggle to win. Because guess what? You see what's happening with stupid ass Shrek ass Fetterman, who has now basically turned into a whole ass Republican when we warned these motherfuckers that this was going to happen. But no one listens to us, right?
Well, he did tell on himself. He said he was going to replace he said he was going to replace Joe Manchin, and I guess we weren't really
he surely
listening, and we
has.
put between the lines, were we?
They
he
said my boy
definitely
was
replaced
Joe Manchin instead. But that's the thing. Like people have to start listening to the messengers, I think. Like if you have somebody and there has to be investments, right? As you said, like in the South, if you're in Louisiana and Mississippi and all these states where there was from what I understand, there was a flip in Mississippi. So if we start investing in the actual candidates and stop worrying about what the hell this party is doing, I'm sorry, I really don't care.
The Mississippi candidates won because they were gerrymandered and the map got struck down and they became fairly drawn districts.
Yeah, they still won. Listen, sometimes you got to use all that shit in your favor. Whatever it is in your favor.
We just need to start encouraging people who are interesting, people with, again, like I've been saying, with lived experience, who are relatable, who incite people, who people can see themselves in to run for office. That's what we need to be doing.
Kenny, and here's the part that, and I'll say it we're a family group where we are a community at the big three. And I'm going to say something that's going to be hard to hear, but it's the truth. And I think that we have to accept the truth, and that's what we're here for. Republicans have been building up a pipeline of candidates on multiple fronts for 2 decades. Turning Point USA, CPAC, that shit is a grooming ground, training ground, brainwashing situation that builds up their pipeline and gets them to have loyal party support from young to old. Okay, old people, they use Fox News to brainwash. Young people, Turning Point USA and CPAC. Democrats have completely ignored all of that and has done none of that work. So they're 2 decades ahead of us in regards to building pipeline for leadership and for the type of people they want to see as their leaders. We hadn't even started to assemble it and put that shit together. So when you talk about we need better candidates, there aren't any. Like they're not there. That's part of the damn problem, is that we don't have those structures in place in the party to cultivate leadership at young levels to get them out there, because the old people are desperate to hang on to power and they've ignored the future of the party. The same thing goes when you talk about the media ecosphere. They've had conservative creators build up huge entire mass followings like Charlie Kirk, like Nick Fuentes, like Candace Owens, who've been funded at high levels. The Israel's paying content creators $7,000 a post to go. So Democrats are like, maybe we ought to let's have some DNC content. Let's have some content creators come to the DNC. Let's get them here and let's just throw them in a room and give them a hot dog. That's where the DNC, the Democrats are. Whereas Republicans are, we've been funding content creators for 20 years, and now we're going to buy the networks. So we're going to, Fox is working for us, so now let's buy CBS. Okay, let's buy CNN. They are decades ahead of us in regards to work, and they're decades ahead of us in regards to strategy, and that means that we're 20 years behind and we're fucked. I don't want to say that a lot, but we have to know how fucked we are if we're going to have any chance of fighting back. And I'm not saying we're going to win shit. We lost everything. When Kamala lost, we lost. And we lost everything. It just hadn't been taken from us yet. They already have it. We've already lost it. They're just letting it hang out there. We already lost, goddammit, the ACA. We already lost it. We already lost the ACA. We already lost food stamps. We already lost student loans. We already lost abortion. We already lost gay marriage. These things are already gone. They're just letting us hold on to it for a little bit longer. I think it's essential for Zachary to accept these things so I can fight better, so that I can fight smarter, and I can be more strategic in my thinking about how to get them back.
I mean,
Yeah, listen.
I
mean,
agree.
I agree, and I don't disagree with you. I just
It's hard
think
to
that
hear. I know it's hard to hear.
I have come to the point where when it comes to Congress and how it operates, that I cannot invest my feelings and my time into how and what they do. This is why I say all politics is local, and you need to start focusing on them damn local races, because that is actually where the talent is. That is where the talented people are. And there are a lot of people that people don't know who are doing the work on the local level, and those are the people that are at some point going to hopefully get elevated, right? Because people didn't know Angela Alsobrooks. They didn't know who that woman was, but Angela Alsobrooks was a DA. She was a county executive. She went to be, and now she's in the Senate, right? So people don't know that. Then you had Wes Moore, who came from he's a business person. He was not a politician. So there are people that are coming into the fold, and we have to be able to give them. But I do agree when you say that there are old people that are just holding on forever and ever, and those people need to let go. I don't disagree with that. They have got to go. Why the fuck is Angus King? Angus King is 80-something years old. He needs to fucking go, okay?
Even worse than Angus King is David Scott of Georgia's 13th Congressional District.
Jesus.
David Scott is in ill health. David Scott has not David Scott has not voted in the last 6 elections. David Scott has not voted in the last, not 1, not 2, not the last 6 elections. The least that you can fucking do as a member of the American democracy is cast your damn vote. And this man, a sitting United States House of Representatives member, representing the 13th Congressional District of Georgia, has not voted in the last 6 Georgia elections.
How in the fuck is that
horrible?
It's time for him to go.
I mean, hey, child, we got some good candidates that are running for that seat, so we definitely should do something. But the other word on the curb is I heard that he was trying to stay in office is because he has a lot of family members who are tied financially to his candidacy.
Let's be honest about how the money in politics works. Many of the members of Congress in the Senate and the House have lots of family members getting benefits from the money. So when you talk about, and I don't have any evidence, I don't know this. This is just a random example, right? Let's just pretend that Zachary Kirk was in the Senate. Senator Kirk is getting money for his campaign from the Aviation, Federation. But also, I may have friends who work there, and my friends work there because of their connection to me. So I'm going to do what I can to make these people happy and keep them there because my friends are getting paid from it. My campaign benefits from it. That's how it works, and that's part of the problem. And there's nothing we can do about it because that's the system. And that's why I think it's important for us to know these things and to talk about these things and then apply pressure when we need to and hold accountable when we have to, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's hard. People are mad about some of the things that I posted this week, attacking the Democrats and attacking the senators. But God damn it, this is not an election year. We just fucking had it. If there's a damn time to criticize motherfuckers, it's fucking now. I'm not fucking stupid. I know what the fuck I'm doing. When I say get rid of every fucking Democrat, I know goddamn well we ain't get rid of every goddamn Democrat. But now is the time to say it because, bitch, I built capital. Zachary Kirk has built capital up to spend, and I'm going to spend it at a time that's critical. They need to know that what they did was fucked up and that someone who is as dedicated to the fucking party as me is willing to argue back and say it's fucked up what you did, so don't do it again.
And it sets the tone. It sets the tone for other people to realize do not break ranks or there will be swift consequence. I think that's the other problem.
That's right.
There's no consequence for a lot of these people. They feel like, oh, well, they'll just get over it. Oh, they'll forget about it.
Yeah. Well, In the Senate, there is no consequences because again, they put the people up that were going to be able to get away with it. And
there'll be a consequence. It's gonna come.
what's the consequence for Dick Durbin?
Not
He's
for the
leaving
ones
in
who
a
are
year.
leaving. But no.
I mean, Catherine
Kane,
Cortez Masto.
2028.
Tim Kaine is gone. I'm just telling you right now, Tim Kaine is gone. He's like about to be in his 70s. He's gone. He's not. These people are not going to be around much longer. Look at Manchin and Sinema. And there's listen, every Senate there is people like somebody posted earlier. There was the Blue Dogs during Obama who were nightmare. They held us back so much. We could have had public option, and this is where we are now. Okay. Then you had Manchin Cinema, who were pains in the ass to Biden. Then you have what I call, y'all call them all kind of names. I call them the folding eight. There is always this group of people in the Senate who are centrist, whatever you want to call them, who want to be the saviors. They want to. They think they're doing what's best for the masses. And my thing is disrespectful to there's 39. If 39 people in the Senate are against something and 8 people are for it, then maybe you're not in the minority. You're not in the majority at that point in terms of the caucus. So how are we letting these small numbers of people actually be the ones who are dictating what happens? I don't know. It's just a really frustrating thing to witness and to watch. And I totally understand why people are just so done with politics. Because listen, as much as I'm involved in politics, I be done half the time. I mean, I get so frustrated, but I really do wish people would focus, like I said, on local government.
The problem is it's like a house of cards, right? If we're sitting here looking at, even though it's only just those, the fake 8, them motherfuckers. I think the problem is we see so many divides and we don't see, again, that one band, one sound thing that happens on our side of the party. No matter what Republicans do, they will argue. They ask us off about, oh, I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with that. But they ask us to lockstep and make sure they have enough votes in order to control not only the narratives, but the policies. I'll say this as an example. Marjorie Taylor Greene is going from pillar to fucking post, talking about the big, beautiful bill and talking about premiums going up. However, she voted for the shit. You hear what I'm saying? So regardless of how they bitch and they murmur and they fucking complain and they might fight on the internet, but them motherfuckers vote together and they show unity with their votes. And that's power. And I think that's where the issue lies. And that's why we're frustrated. The frustration is like, you guys are not flexing the only power and the leverage that you have. And when you finally have that leverage, you throw it away. So that's why people are frustrated. And that's why they're saying, fuck the whole damn party. Even though we shouldn't. But it's just like, again, you pull one fucking card, the whole house comes tumbling down. And that's what the problem is. Every time we have an opportunity to show strength, it's always some bullshit. When Republicans continue to show strength, they will argue, complain, say that this, but they always lockstep when it comes to them fucking votes. And that's what pisses me off. I don't mind people fighting and disagreeing, but I'm gonna need y'all asses to vote.
Exactly. I agree.
And that's where we are. So we end the night, people. We're ending the night. I think all having vented our frustration and getting it out and getting ready, I guess, to wake up tomorrow and do it all, again. It's been a week, and soon all of this will be over and we'll be moving on to the next thing. And hopefully the next thing will result in maybe some progress for the party, for the people, but we'll see. Thank you guys for joining us.
All right. Bye, y'all.